Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we are back in Warframe for the third episode of Are Syndicate Weapons Still Good? The series where we test all 3 Syndicate weapons of each and every faction once a week to see which Syndicate has the best weapons. Before we start, YouTube has been recommending my videos a lot less than usual, and I've seen a huge drop in views and pretty much everything. So if you wanna like the video, share it, that will help a lot since YouTube is not doing it at all. And yeah, thank you for all the support. Let's move on with the video. So this week we are having a look at the Sancti weapons from New Loka, this almost religious group led by Priestess Amarin that wants to eradicate all organ technology and restore Earth to make it a place where all humans can return to. The Sancti family includes the Tigris, the Castanas, and the Magistar. All these special variants have a unique trait. Tigris and Castanas get the Purity trait, that upon gaining enough affinity, triggers an explosion with 25 meters of range that deals corrosive damage, recovers 25% of your max health, and increases it by 25% for 30 seconds. While the Magistar increases your status effect resistance by 20% by just being equipped, and on heavy attack heals you and all allies within 50 meters for 5% of the damage dealt. Not the most impressive trait yet, but it can still be useful. And that's all the unique stuff going on for these weapons. If I forgot something, please add it in the comments for everyone else to see. Now moving to the builds for all the Sancti variants, this is what I'm currently using. On the Tigris, I am focusing on a hit build, and these are the mods I'm currently running. Prime Point Blank and Blaze for a lot of damage and the heat that we want for this build. Galvanize Hell for multi-shot, Galvanize Heavy for status chance and even more damage, Critical Deceleration for more crit chance, and Prime Ravage for more crit damage. We do lose a bit of fire rate, but it won't matter that much with this weapon since it has a unique firing mode which is duplex, which I'll show you later. Shotgun Elementalist for more status damage and magazine capacity, which is quite fun to run with this build. And Hunter Munitions to have a chance to apply slash on critical hits. The arcane I'm using is Primary Cracks, and this on weak point will grant us an additional 30% status chance and 6% ammo efficiency for 10 seconds. These buffs stack up to 10 times, which means we can reach 300% status chance, which is a lot, and 60% ammo efficiency, which means we can shoot for longer because we have a chance to not consume any ammo. If you want to put the additional forma, you can run something else like Counterbalance, or even Prime Counterbalance, or something like Galvanized Acceleration to increase the range of the fall-off for this weapon. It's up to you. I don't really think it's needed, but it could make your experience with this weapon a little bit better. Moving to the Sancti Castanas, this is what I'm currently running, and it's once again a heat-focused build. This weapon is kind of unique as well because it has a trigger called active, which means we have to actually trigger the explosion for this weapon's projectiles, and that allows us to do some funny things, but it also means we cannot build for things like galvanized crosshairs that much or even galvanized shot. So the build is mostly just crit stats, a lot of heat and corrosive, pistol elementalist for more status damage and reload speed, which is nice, and galvanized diffusion for some multi-shot. I am also running prime pistol ammo mutations because since this is an explosive weapon, it has a very limited amount of ammo reserves, and this is the only way to kinda deal with that, which is very annoying. As for the arcane, I am running Cascadia Flare because this grants you 480% raw damage, which is a lot, and the only trigger condition is just applying heat, which we will be doing quite a lot because we have almost 100% status chance. As for the Sancti Magistars, I have already made a build for this weapon, which will be this one, which is just your usual slam attack build. Back in the day, this was pretty good. Now with the slam changes, it is kind of bad. You can still use it, but you have to jump quite high in the air to make use of it, and that's real annoying. And these are the Incarnon evolutions you want, with this one being Slam Radius, so your evolution 1 just activates the Incarnon form on the weapon, more melee damage and attack speed with this evolution 2. The third evolution increases your slam radius, and the fourth one is just more crit chance and crit damage, which is always nice. And the build, it's just, once again, your usual slam build. We are making use of a Seismic Wave for more slam damage, Killing Blow for even more damage on the weapon, Galvanized Reflex and Corrupt Charge to increase our combo count by a tremendous amount, a lot of crit damage, some crits and some more damage, and melee exposure to gain 240% corrosive damage just by casting some abilities. And yeah, that's pretty much the build. You can also add your Tennokai mod of choice. I just don't want to put the additional format on this weapon because I don't think it's worth it, but yeah, you can totally go for it, and this weapon will perform quite well with this build. And of course, if you want to see how it performs, I'll have the video link on the top right corner of your screen right now to the build I made not that long ago. As for the boring Fluence build, that's a build. Once again, nothing new here, just your usual melee influence build. You can change some of the mods if you don't like them. I really don't think it's gonna be that good of a build in general. So I mean, this weapon on itself, it was only good because of the slam attacks, and now with the changes it just isn't good anymore, which is very sad. And I mean, if you do have a pretty good Riven, it might still be a good weapon, but I don't have it, so I cannot really say anything about it. But that's the build, and yeah, once again, very sad that this weapon got nerfed that much. And those were the builds for all the weapons, so let's now see how they perform. Alright, as always, I'll be testing against the level 230 corrupted heavy gunners with steel pot modifiers because they are very tanky and they also can take some hits, which is quite fun. Let's start with the Sancti Tigris. This weapon has this unique trigger that I mentioned while explaining the build, and the way it works is you fire it, and then you can hold down your firing key and release it to fire the second shot. It's kind of fun. It's very old, but you can just like click and shoot your bullets at the same time pretty much, which is gonna apply a lot of statuses, which can deal some very nice damage. And since we have primary cracks, we have a chance to not consume any ammos, which means we can just do this and yeah, have a lot of fun. And yeah, since we have primary cracks, we can just spam our shots as much as we want. And if we are lucky, of course, we can just fire forever pretty much and deal some good damage. I wish I had some punch through, but I don't know exactly what to remove to give this weapon some punch through, but it could make it a pretty good weapon. It's a bit too single targety for today's standards, so you may wanna like use it only for like heavy gunners or like priority targets. It won't work that well against acolytes because it does not deal that much damage per pellet, but it's a pretty good weapon if you want to build for status, which is yeah, it's something. It's not great, but it's enjoyable. Now moving to the Sancti Castanas, which is the weapon I mostly enjoy of the three. This weapon has that active trigger, which means we can fire these mines on the ground that will only detonate whenever we press our alt fire button. And yeah, they do deal some okay damage. Of course, only one is not gonna cut it. We have to have a few, so we can also stack our arcane buff here, Cascadia Flare. And I mean, eventually it's gonna stack enough damage to deal with these enemies, because the heat procs will deal tremendous amount of damage. We are also applying electricity, because the explosion applies electricity and it won't fuse with heat, which is, I think, kind of unique. And yeah, we are going through ammos like it's nothing, but eventually, once again, this weapon is perfectly capable of dealing with even with these very high level enemies, although very, very slowly. So yeah, by itself, not great, but with some buffs, you're gonna see it's gonna become quite the monster. And for the Sancti Magistar is a melee influence build. Like, it's eventually gonna kill stuff the moment you have enough combo count and enough buffs on the weapon. You also want to use your Incarnate Form because it does increase your damage. And I mean, this speaks by itself. We are killing stuff because melee influence is just that good of an arcane. But I'd rather use the slam attack. It was quite fun. Honestly, I really like the slam attack mechanic for this weapon. It was quite fun. But now it's just not worth it. It takes too much setup, and there are better slam options if you just want to do that. So yeah, this is pretty much a dead weapon now. It's just there for the mastery rank, and you should focus on like Tenet Exec or the Sampotes if you want to just do slam attacks. And now for the actual showcase with viral and a roar buff. Let's see what happens. Oh no, we are one-shotting. What a shocker. Yeah, having viral And any Warframe buff is gonna make any weapon better. I know it's so unpredictable, you know, like nobody could have ever predicted this outcome, you know? Yeah, the Sancti Tigris is still a bit too single targety for the way I play the game, but the Sancti Castanas on the other hand, these things are pretty juicy actually. They can, in fact, deal a lot of damage. Of course, our companion is also dealing a lot of damage, but the point is, if we apply Viral, and we also have a Roar buff, these things can kill stuff quite fast as well. Like, I mean, we are dealing a lot of damage, and I am a big fan of that. And then comes the Sancti Magistar. Once again, it's the same as the Castanas. The moment we apply electricity, we are just gonna kill everything, and our companion can spread all those electricity procs to all other enemies in range as well, and make that happen even faster. Yeah, by itself, this weapon is not great. Melee influence is, okay? This is not a Magistar build, this is a melee influence build, and that can be applied to all the melees, so yeah, this weapon is not unique anymore, and yeah, it's not one of my favorites anymore. Big sad, but oh well. And those are the Sancti weapons. I find the Tigris and the Castanas a bit too slow for today's standards, especially the Tigris actually, but they both feel too underpowered and they could use an Incarnon form to deal with their shortcomings. I really hope DE eventually gets to at least the Sancti Castanas, or the Castanas in general, because I really like this weapon and it will be a unique Incarnon to have. Imagine that instead of throwing these weapons, you actually turn them into like some laser pointers or something. It will just be very fun and very silly, and I would really love that. Please take this idea and make it into reality. It would be very funny. As for the Magistar, as you saw, the slam changes pretty much kill the weapon, and even worse, the only way to play it pretty much is with melee influence, unless you want to like I guess do one melee heavy attack once in a while, because you have to bullet jump quite high to actually get the full range and damage for the weapon. So yeah, Sancti weapons get only 1 out of 3 good weapons, and that's only because I believe in Sancti Castanas, and everything else is just not there yet. Big sad, but that's how it is. And new Loka gets to the bottom of priority for syndicates right now, especially if you're just starting the game. So, yeah, very sad. Unless you're a fan of the Tigris or like some very unique firing modes, I cannot recommend the Syndicate at all. So yeah, that is the new Loka's Sancti weapons. If you like this series, remember to leave a like. It might seem useless, but it does give me a nice boost for creativity and keeps me motivated to spend all my platinums to buy formas and potatoes for these weapons. If you're interested in seeing more Warframe content in the future, consider subscribing to the channel, and you can also follow me on Twitch for my weekly streams, and join my Discord if you wanna receive notifications about all my content drops. I wish you a beautiful rest of the day, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.